Right, good evening, and thanks for clicking on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. In tonight's video, we are going to look at the details with regards to Storm Bert. It is now approaching to the southwest of the UK and Ireland, but before we get there, we have got potentially the coldest night of not just this week, but potentially also the coldest of the entire past 14 years or so. For the month of November, we could be talking about the coldest temperature since November 2010. Over the snow-covered ground, we've got higher pressure building in temporarily, and the temperatures are dropping like a stone. This is the UK Met Model prediction of snow depth as of 03Z this morning, and quite a thick covering over northern Scotland. Got a few pockets of southwestern Scotland, North Wales, northern England, Western Ireland, pockets of Northern Ireland as well. But it's as that pressure builds, you can see here off Meteosail, the pressure building ahead of Storm Bert. That is just very slightly showing its hand now to the southwest. Got a squeeze in ice bars down to the southwest, and it's really under these clear skies and light winds during the overnight period. We could see the temperatures dropping well into the double digits below freezing. The temperatures obviously are dropping like a stone out there as the sun has now set. Got -5s in the north of the UK, something slightly milder the further south and west you go. We've actually got the 7s and 8s across both South Ireland and South England as the winds are beginning to pick up. Now, this is the prediction of the model in terms of the temperatures overnight tonight. This is off the UK Met Model, and if we look at the 2 metre temperature minimums, you can see this is at the 18Z, so even early evening, some unofficial stations are already close to -10 Celsius at the time of recording, which is just before 5 in the evening. But by the time we reach the overnight period tonight, the model is indicating a -14 over the Cairngorm Plateau, -12 up into the northeast corner of Aberdeenshire, also inland areas where you've got lying snow, and you've got the perfect recipe for maximum radiational cooling. See here, temperatures are in the low to mid single figures across more southwest areas of both Ireland and the UK as the winds begin to increase during the overnight period this evening. But let's look at the details then. This is off Weather Online, I was going to say, but it's weather.com, and you can see weather charts. I'll get there in the end. Weather charts. This is off the ECMWF model, by the way, and you can see that feature that they actually brought some lightning. I noticed on my drive down the A9 as well as going north last night. My wife also seen lightning showing up over the Cromarty Firth. It was actually over the North Sea, but a little bit of interest in lightning activity during the overnight last night. But that system is now moving into the near continent, and there's that little bump in the isobars, providing the perfect recipe for the coldest of the week, but also the coldest since 2010, potentially anyway. If we exceed -12.1, I believe it is, it would be the coldest November night since 2010 in the UK. But you can see here, this system now moving in as we move towards the midnight hour tonight. We've got the winds starting to pick up to gale force across Ireland and western coasts of England and Wales. Still very cold. The temperatures are continuing to drop here across north and eastern areas of the British Isles. All the while, we've got a very different story across Ireland and Northern Ireland. Heavy rainfall blowing in on a very strong southerly gale. You can see the pressure continuing to drop rapidly into the 940s and even bottoming out around 936 millibars. But you notice here that it is well west of the British Isles. While we've got 60-70 mile per hour winds over UK and Ireland, the worst of the weather, believe it or not, is actually out over the open Atlantic, which is good news. The core of strongest winds, anyway, is going to remain offshore, thankfully. But nonetheless, a very, very wet, very windy night, very cold to start, but we're going to see a dramatic warm-up as we progress through the next 48 hours or so. We've got much, much warmer air moving westwards, northeastwards, and you can see that here on the model. So skip back a couple of frames here, and what really is the concern? We've got a multitude of warnings now issued by the Met Office for wind, rain, and snow. Potential for blizzard conditions, especially over high exposed areas of North Wales, Northern England, and southern and central and even northern areas of Scotland as well. As that moisture then bumps into the cold air in place, precipitation is going to turn very quickly to snowfall. Factor in the winds as well. That is going to make very treacherous driving conditions, especially over high road routes, for example. Blowing, drifting is going to be a problem. And then what is going to happen is, as we progress through the course of the night, starting off in the early hours of the morning, more southern areas, that warmer air will mix in. It's going to change the snow back to rain. Then as that moisture continues to run north, we've got a longer spell of rain, northern portions of England, south central Scotland, south central Highland region. That is where we're going to see several hours of heavy persistent snow blowing in on a 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind, going to create very, very treacherous driving conditions. We're potentially likely to see impassable roads. We're likely to see trees getting blown down, especially with trees laden with snow, especially over high ground. The winds are going to topple those trees and cause all sorts of issues. We're going to see issues both rail, road, probably air travel. We're also going to see it naturally with the ferries. There's a lot of sport going on during the course of Saturday as well. That is likely to be significantly disrupted as well. And that snow will continue to fall heavily. But notice here, by the time we reach 12 UTC, the ECMWF model is already suggesting that precipitation has fully transitioned back to rainfall once again. We may see freezing rain because what we've got is low level cold air with mild air running over the top of that. That moisture then changes over to rain, but then by the time it reaches the ground is still frozen, and we'll see instant freezing on surfaces. So this is going to be a storm that's going to be quite interesting to watch. And my wife and I actually went out and got the grocery shopping today because I thought it's going to just be miserable tomorrow. I would rather get everything done today and we can just hunker down and stay warm in the house. And I think that's going to be a pretty good call, actually. But you can see that the mess that we've got, according to the ECMWF model, the pressure is essentially bottomed out at around 936, 937 millibars, a few hundred miles to the west of Scotland here. This is at 12 UTC, according to the ECMWF. You've got still heavy snowfall across parts of northern UK, but then heavy rainfall across anywhere from South Scotland right the way south and west. It's all fallen in the form of rainfall. Looking at a couple of other things, let's look at wind gusts. So you can see here, this kind of emphasizes the point that I was trying to make. The greys represent the strongest winds, and notice that it is to the west of the UK and Ireland. So we're going to see 90, 100 mile per hour winds probably associated with this feature around the inner core, but thankfully that is well offshore. But we still will have 60, 70, possibly close to 80 mile per hour winds blowing along the south and east coast of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, England, up into western Scotland. Even on the east coast, we could see very gusty winds also here of 60, 70 mile per hour. So even inland areas, notice here, southern UK, this is early Sunday morning, we could see some very powerful gusts blowing here also. That area of low pressure appears to kind of do a little bit of a turn within its position to the west of the UK, and then kind of pivot eastwards, eventually starting to kind of weaken as it crosses the northern British Isles. But looking at the rainfall, we could see in excess of 100 millimetres across exposed areas of southwestern England, South Wales, parts of southwestern Ireland as well, especially over upslope areas. We could see in excess of 100, possibly close to 150 millimetres of rain falling within the next 24 to 48 hours. Even North Wales, northwestern England, southwestern Scotland, again, upslope areas could see in excess of 90 to 100 millimetres of rain falling over the next several days or so here. But this is going to be a big impact on those out and about during the course of tomorrow. We are likely to see power outages as well. And you can see, looking at the 2 meter temperature anomalies here, or this is at the actual temperature, of the ECMWF. Now, the cold continues to grow stronger across northern UK, but notice here the 12 Celsius line at 2 meters is now starting to show its hand, and you can see as we play through this loop, the milder rushes across Ireland and Northern Ireland. We're already in the double figures, starting off the night close to freezing, especially across Northern Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and especially Northern England and Scotland naturally as well. But what was going to happen is, as we progress through the period between, let's say, 10, 11 o'clock tonight, temperatures close to freezing. By the time we reach midday tomorrow, we could be talking about 12, 13, 14 Celsius, believe it or not. So this is going to be a very, very significant warm-up as this milder air gets rushed northwards. It's going to be slowest to reach the north of the British Isles. Obviously, the snow-covered ground as well is going to essentially cool the air mass in the lowest portions of the atmosphere also. But generally speaking, by the time we get to Sunday, 7, 8, 9 Celsius, all the way up into northern Scotland here, we're going to see a rapid melt of snow. Flooding will likely be an issue as well Sunday into Monday with the rapid snow melt combined with the heavy rainfall. So it certainly is a very active time at the moment. And obviously, winter forecast, the all-important one, live stream, 7:30 p.m. this upcoming Sunday. I hope you can join me for that. I'm going to create the video for that. I'll leave a link in the description below the video. We're going to have a tropical outlook. Tomorrow is probably going to be the last tropical outlook of the season as well. But the big one is on Sunday. I hope you can join me for that. And we'll see if what we're seeing now and through the past week is that a harbinger of things to come this upcoming winter, or we'll wait and see what is going to take place. So enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll be back with the tropical outlook tomorrow. Bye-bye.